as you said, by France Unbound, part of that leftist New Popular Front group. And you're confident that that minister, that name, Laurence Toubiana, will be accepted. There are divisions now within your leftist group. Is it time for the socialists, if your Prime Minister name, Laurence Toubiana, does not get accepted, is it time for you as the socialists to think about forming a pact with Ensemble of Macron to start that outreach with Macron's party? Certainly the markets would welcome that.
Maybe, but we have not been elected to do that. We've been elected to deliver change. Emmanuel Macron did last election, and the electors, they asked for a deep change, and we need to bring about change in this country. So what we need to do is just bring about change, and we need also to find a majority in the National Assembly. I have here to remind you that we only have 190 MPs on a total of 577 MPs. So we need to pass agreements with other parties and not only with the leftist parties, so that we can adopt a budget, so that we can pass reforms. So what we need now is just to secure a prime minister's name that is okay with every another party, and then we need to move beyond party politics and find a global agreement on what we need to do on the economics, what we need to do on fiscal issues, what we need to do on social issues.
Jean-Luc Mélenchon says that you keep vetoing, the socialists keep vetoing his prime ministerial candidates. Is that true?
Well, I mean, we are talking about a veto from Jean-Luc Mélenchon himself on Laurence Toubiana's name. So at this stage, what we see that there are strong discussions between us. But I think this is normal party politics, which is what is happening in every European country in the world when there is a hung parliament like this one. So we need just to wait. We need to keep the pressure down. We need to discuss, and I'm sure that in the end we will find the right prime minister, and I'm sure that in the end Emmanuel Macron will make the right pick. We need to hear what the electors did say last Sunday.
Are you hearing any names about who could be the finance minister? The financial markets are keen to find out. We want to know who the Prime Minister is going to be. We also want to know who the Finance Minister could be and what kind of policies we should be looking at, and whether or not things like pension reform are completely dead at this point. Give us an idea. Which names are you hearing, and what do you think about pension reform?
Well, I can't give you any name, but what I can tell you is that our will is to have a business minister, economics ministers, finance ministers that are able to deliver our reforms, but also to secure the funding of our debt, and to, of course, to make the country to secure our growth. And I want to tell you here that we, the socialists, and also the ecologists, the communists, the left in general, we did govern our country for 30 years in the last 100 years. So we are a governmental party with several figures that are used to govern and take and make decisions. And I think that to that matter, no one should be afraid of the New Popular Front. This is, of course, a left-wing alliance. We are socialists. We want to bring about change. We want to make the minimum wage higher, and the minimum wage in France is lower than in the US and in Germany. So we just want to make it the average minimum wage. You know, just look at the policies. It is not as crazy as you may notice it in the columns that I'm reading. The program that we have will need a strong backing in Parliament, and will be negotiated with every partner, so that we can pass bills and we can pass a budget.
Well, Philippe, speaking of that, I just want to follow on Guy's question. To be clear, does that mean pension reform specifically is off the table?
No, pension reform is not off the table. We are aiming to just basically cancelling, you know, the age 64 that has been put in the bill. We were elected for that, and there's a majority in the National Assembly to move this age barrier. The National Front also wants to move the age barrier. Most of right-wing MPs did vote against the pension reform in 2023. That means that we need just to lower retirement for people who started working at 18 or 20. But that doesn't mean that we will increase the pension budget, and we will find ways to balance the books. And I want to tell here that we are responsible people, and that there is no way that we will increase deficits forever. We know that we need to reimburse our debt. We know that we need to balance the books, and this is what is at stake. But we also need social justice, and we also need to deliver for people who started working very early at 18 and 20. It's not fair to, yes.
Philippe, it's good to hear that you want to balance the books from your mouth to the EU Commission's ears, because the French government has to meet those new budget kind of deadlines in September from the EU Commission. You talk about balancing the books very quickly, just for time, 30 seconds here. Where do those savings come from by September?
Well, we'll have to discuss it in this hung parliament, and there have been several proposals made by different groups. We will need to study them, we need to discuss them. But I think there is much red tape in this country that must be tackled. I think there is some tax loopholes that must be clamped down. There are several issues on which we are working, and in the budget committee of which I'm partner, in this budget committee we have several proposals. So I think we will be able to deliver a budget that will bring about change, that will make social justice, that will make reforms, and I'm sure that we'll be able to balance the books in the end.